Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. And I wanted to go in the news and basically bring out this article. Was published May 31st, 2023. Joe Biden launches his war on anti-Sem, all right, autism. Massive politically motivated effort will impact on free speech and association, all right? And as we have been watching these devils step by step use propaganda, witchcraft to prepare everyone for, the coming war against the Hebrew Israelites. This is where we are. Okay, you notice last year they used two high-profile so-called Negroes in Kanye West and what's that guy's name? Kyrie Irving, to prepare everyone's mind for the coming war against the Hebrew Israelites. But again, they know who we are, and they know that they have to move, all right, with left-hand wisdom. They can't just come and attack the true prophets of the Lord, all right? They have to pretty much use propaganda, all right, and prepare the minds of the people, all right, for the coming war against the Hebrew Israelites, okay? And little by little, things have been happening systematically. I believe particular camps are in the back pocket of the elites and will be used as well, okay, for the coming war against the Hebrew Israelites. That's what this is, okay? And again, as always, they use what you call so-called white supremacists to push these talking points, because when you listen to a lot of so-called, white supremacist talking points, they're against these small hats, right? They say it loud and proud, you see. And if you've paid attention to these devils over the past 10 years, all right, they've been systematically calling out, all right, so-called white supremacist groups. Okay, Joe Biden recently just popped up at a so-called black college, Howard University, screaming and crying that white supremacy is the biggest threat, all right, to America, all right? But as I've, showed you in times past in other videos, what they've done is they've been able to now establish that there are black supremacists, okay? Black supremacist groups, and you even have particular Israelite groups. One notable one, ISUPK, all right, go on Vice TV and say, we are black supremacists, all right, which we're not pushing black supremacy. There's no such thing as black supremacy, all right. In the kingdom of heaven, the Israelites will be supreme over all of the other nations on the planet Earth, okay. There's no way, all right, we can be supreme here in the system of Edomite supremacy, all right, as we're not sovereign. We have no control over the resources. So a lot of these things are pretty much plants and groups that are set up by the powers that be, okay, so that they can, little by little prepare a war against this truth, okay? So we're not going to read this whole article, okay, but we know what the scriptures say about this very, very topic, okay? As the scripture said, the Lord would have war with Amalek from generation to generation, okay? And what we're witnessing happen in the earth, all right, with this technology, what they're doing to the food, the boast of writing a new Bible, all of this crap, all right, it's a war against the Most High, His only begotten Son, and the chosen people, as it prescribes in the book of Psalms, the 2nd chapter. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? This New World Order is a vain thing. All right. And in order for them to fully be able to establish it, all right, they will have to take care of the Hebrew Israelites. Now, we know the scriptures talks about a famine of the word, okay, and that's on the horizon. But they just needed key things to happen, all right, before they made their move, all right. And you would think that these were the most, persecuted group of people, all right. But really, what they're trying to do is take away your ability to criticize the ones who are in power as they move forward, all right, with this NWO, okay. That's what that whole face diaper ritual was all about, all right, that mask, all right, that they're getting ready to pretty much silence the people, all right, and move forward with their agenda. Okay, so I'm going to jump to a particular part of this article. You can listen to it. And where the hell is Kamala Harris? Okay, and this whole Biden administration, all right, has been an assault on righteousness. All right, so those people who are calling themselves, all right, the chosen, should be against the agenda of Biden, Harris, and all of this other stuff, right? But for somehow, some way, they're all together. Now, let me go to this. Let's see here. Let's see here. I'll go here. It says the plan will be considered a success by inter alia suppressing what once passed as free speech in the United States seems to have bothered none of the groups that applauded the development. Yada yada yada. Let me jump to this one part, because you can read this article on your own. Let's see here. Here we go. Today, the Biden Harris administration, which is totally anti-Messiah, which is totally anti-Bible, anti-Hamashiach, all right, Yahushai, anti-anything righteous. This whole administration, when you look at it, all right, helped to fulfill the Sodom and Egypt aspect of the prophecy. And all right, we get tired of seeing it, but again, we needed this. All right, so we're happy Creepy Joe came and did what he did, because our people acted as if he was the second coming of Jesus Christ and was going to save them from the pits and grips of Trumpism. But today, Biden-Harris administration is releasing the first ever U.S. national strategy to counter anti-Sem. And again, the average person who you ask, who is Sem? What does Sem mean? What is it? They don't even believe in the Bible. All right, but through the propaganda that's coming through the news, all right, this is most people's cry. Okay. This strategy includes over 100 new actions. See, 100 new actions. Okay, so things are going to tighten up. All right. The administration will take to raise awareness of anti-Sem and its threat to the American democracy. Okay. Protect Ish communities, reverse normalization of anti-Sem, all right, which pretty much it's just an assault on the Israelites, but they've used these isolated events. They keep bringing up this thing in New Jersey, where I believe that was a farce. All right, here it is. This dude shoots up a market, all right, and then he has they say he had fringes on. Then they say they found a phone number, all right, to a Muslim who had to hook up on bombs. Then they say he had bombs in his car, enough bombs to pretty much blow up 2 football fields. All right, now what Jake walks around with them kind of bombs? Okay, because pretty much they are using these events. That event, that's they keep that one in their back pocket. The New Jersey shooting, they talk about that every time. Now we can bring up billions of events, with these devils, which we don't, if that dude was, because they couldn't find out if he was in a camp, but they linked him to Israel. Okay. Pretty much they say, years ago in his life, he was trying to, study under the Israelite Church of God and Jesus Christ, the Comforter, but nothing came of it. And that's all they needed. They just need to, show him and Israelites, and that's all people need. And all right, the likes of Vocab Malone, that's all they talk about. They'll continuously bring up that isolated event, showing you that they're through. Okay, and many, many more weird incidents just popped up, over these last few years. And it's kind of like, what's up with that? And it'll just pop up in the news, all right, then it'll disappear. All right, we believe, even though some of them could be real, we believe that the majority of these incidents are self-created, all right, so that they can help forward their agenda. All right, it says, while anti-Sem incidents most directly and intensely affect the Ish community, anti-Sem threatens us all. All right, anti-Sem conspiracy theories fuel other forms of hatred, discrimination, and bias, including discrimination against other religious minorities, racism. Okay, and these are all buzzwords. Sexism, okay, which the Bible, ironically, deals with racism. All right, as we always bring out, race is just the your so-called your nationality, because in this world, nationality can be pretty much what country you come from, and in the Bible, it in some sense, what land you come from, you can be called after that land. But the true understanding of it is what seed line you go back to according to your fathers. Okay, ism is ultimately a suffix or ist, all right, for something you advocate for. All right, and throughout the whole Bible, the Lord advocates for a one particular race over the other. All right, sexism, all right, which the man is over the woman, and anti-alphabet plus, all right, plus, anti-alphabet plus, as you can see the alphabets starting with the L, ending with the I. All right, what is the I? It says hate, which the Bible deals with all of these things. So pretty much they're going to ban the Bible. All right, it says anti-Sem seeks to divide Americans from one another, erodes trust in government and non-governmental institutions, and undermines our democracy. All right, and we'll go back to the article. All right, but remember what got John the Baptist thrown in jail. Okay. When you get Matthew, the 14th chapter, it says at that time, Herod Tetrarch, all right, which this is a different Herod than the one who tried to kill the Messiah when he was born, tried to murder him when he was born, which that was a whole line. And the father of the Herodian line was who? Antipater the Idumean. So these were Edomites who had got in power, okay, going back to John Hyrcanus, all right, of the Maccabean lineage, who for political reasons, had a lot of these Edomites, become Jews, all right. He needed them to fight in particular wars and other notable reasons. He pretty much forced all of these Edomites to call themselves Jews and become circumcised and all of that and start keeping the laws. All right. And then sometime down the line, under the Roman emperor, all right, Herod was given power, all right, over Judea. Okay. And he started to call himself the King of the Jews. And when you read throughout the Gospels and the New Testament, you'll see, the Herodian line be mentioned. Agrippa, he's of that line. These are all Edomites. So this is Herod Tetrarch, who was wicked, right? Heard of the fame of Yahushai, and he said unto his servants, this John the Baptist, He is risen from the dead. Therefore, mighty works do show forth themselves in him. All right. They thought, John was risen from the dead. You can read up on all of that. It says, for Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake. All right. His brother Philip's wife. For John said unto him, it is unlawful for thee to have her. All right. So let's look up the commentary here. Okay. Because what it was is that this line was calling themselves King of the Jews. All right. They were known to be, all right, the JEWs. All right. That's what they were proclaiming themselves to be. All right. And John the Baptist was so on fire, all right, after seeing and hearing of this situation where Herod slept with his brother's wife. Okay. John rolled up on him. Okay, Matthew 14:4. John, having heard of the incestuous marriage, went to Herod and reproved them to his face for it. All right, and that's what we're doing. All right, we are reproving, all right, these people to their face. All right, telling them, all right, that they're hypocrites. We're telling them that here it is. You're saying that you're the chosen people of the Lord, but look how you run the earth. Look at what you allow. Look at what you're doing. And that's what we were set up to do. Let's get that in the book of Job real quick. The book of Job, the 21st chapter. Let's see. And this whole chapter speaks about how these devils have pretty much lived on a high horse. They're winning. They enjoy their offspring. They spend their days in wealth. All right. And verse 14, it says that they say unto the Most High, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. All right. When you really go deep into that whole 1948 thing, and all right, these people who are calling themselves the chosen, all right, they don't follow the Bible. Okay. They really follow the Talmud. All right. And these are things that we have been set up through the Holy Spirit to call out. Right. And they're getting tired of it. Now, we'll go back to that story, but here's the point. Verse 31, it says, 29, it says, have ye not asked them that go by the way? And do ye not know their tokens that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction? They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Who shall declare his way to his face? And who shall repay him for what he have done? All right. Who shall declare his way to his face? Okay, and who shall call him out for what and who's going to repay him for what he have done? Let's get the book of Wisdom of Solomon real quick. So things are going to change, all right, and we won't be on this YouTube platform for much longer. It's going to be a famine of the word. We've told you all these things. This is why this grace period was to be used to build your faith up, all right, and to put off the old man. But most are using their grace period to become, deeper in niggardry. All right. Well, that's going to separate the elect, all right, from the fakes, because as this persecution comes down, many will fold. All right. And many are going to be used as agents to come against the truth, to say, well, yeah, when I was with them, they were planning on doing this. They were talking about burning that down. It's a lot of those guys amongst us. That's why you better get your mind right for what's coming down the pipe. This ain't no goddamn game what we are part of, man. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. See? When they see it, they shall be troubled with fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation so far beyond all that they look for. Because this gospel and what we're doing leads to the chariots returning. But this is a part of the strangeness of our salvation as well, as we have been raised up, all right, in a lower state, all right, putting on the garments, going out on the highways and the byways. We're standing in great boldness and it's making them uncomfortable. But the devil knows who we are, so he can't just roll and just, just throw all of the Israelites in jail. He has to build a case. That's what he's doing. Okay? And synonymously, the Lord wanted this word to go out for a particular time. So he didn't allow Esau to just rush in on us. What he did was Esau, over these last, 10 years, 15 years, as Israel has grew, all right, you've had all of these incidents linked to Islamic extremists. All right, some here directly call themselves Israelites, but it was always something that you can link. All right, it may be an Islamic extremist, but he'll have, a Hebrew name that we use within his name. Then you had a guy, Vocab Malone, come on the scene, and what he first did, all right, when you look at what he did, all right, and a lot of people are like, we tired of hearing about Vocab Malone. Well, vocab is important to the whole story. See, he's like Haman in the book of Esther. Okay, he had to be brought up in order for you to understand the book of Esther. Well, he's a part of something bigger. See, and when he came on, he first went hardcore linking Israel to Islam, but he got called out, and now he's just on a flat out slander campaign. Okay, to just ultimately make Israel look bad, and Jake helps him. All right, but the water Yahweh Bashim Shai for the remnant, because there won't be any accusation against the elect. Okay, because they are the accuser of the brethren, and that's what this whole thing is centered around. All right, when you ask him to address anything that those people over there in that 1948 madness, all right, you ask him to address any of those issues and the things that they've caused and the evil that they do, he goes silent, or he'll move the goalpost, or he'll act like he didn't hear you. All right, so he's partial. He's using partiality. All right, making the extreme argument against the Israelites, but in the same voice, he won't touch any of the evil of the real people who control this world, letting you know who he is and what he's all about. All right, and we can't expect him to do it, but we call out. All right, the blatant hypocrisy, showing you these people are going to lose. All right, it's going to get tight, but really we have nothing to worry about when we see how unfair and evil these people are. So the Lord has raised up the righteous man to stand in great boldness, just like he did with John. All right, John cursed out, all right, Herod. Because what did Herod do? This Herod, he slept with his brother's wife while he was still alive. Okay? Now, if your brother passes away, there is a law, all right, that if he has no children, all right, to give his inheritance to, you can go into her. It's called a Levariate marriage, for the purpose of giving seed unto her, for the inheritance to be passed down. But Herod's brother was still alive. So here it is. They're going around calling themselves the JEWs, King of the Jews. But then look at what they do. So John was fed up. So John went to his ass. The same way we're going out to the highways and the byways, John, having heard of this incestuous marriage, went to Herod and reproved him to his face for it. And as Luke says, for all the evils he had done. Luke 3:19. But Herod, the tetrarch, all right, being reproved by him for Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, and for all the evils which Herod had done. So it was more evils he did. So John the Baptist was so on fire that he heard about Herod sleeping with his brother's wife, and he went to him like, wait a minute. Okay? It says, John, having heard of this incestuous marriage, went to Herod and reproved him to his face for it. And as Luke says, for all the evils he had done. Okay? For he was a very wicked man. These are the Edomites. Okay? Under the Herodian name, which Antipater the Idumean was the father of that lineage. So these were Edomites. He was a very wicked man and guilty of many flagitious crimes. Okay, let's look up the word flagitious. Okay, so we can know what this means. Let's see here. Just define it real quick. Flagitious means criminal. All right, villainous. All right, for the Val man. All right, we'll speak. He's a villain. He's a Val individual. He's a very flagitious criminal acts, and that's what these devils always do, and what they're doing now. Okay, John, in doing so, showed his zeal for holiness and his hatred of sin, his courage and faithfulness in reproving thus freely so great a man, and made it manifest that he came in the spirit of Elijah. What he said to him was, "It is not lawful for thee to have her," being forbidden in Leviticus. So John went to the law and was cursing out this so-called JEW. He was like, "No, you're wrong. Are not we doing the same thing?" All right. So this led to John the Baptist being imprisoned. Eventually, he was beheaded. All right. Being forbidden, Leviticus 18 and 16, "Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness." So you're not supposed to sleep with your brother's wife. Okay, if he's alive. Now, if he dies, there's particular laws, because he may have children that he can pass the inheritance to. If there's already a child, then you don't go into the wife. All right, but if he's dead with no children to pass the inheritance down to, there's a law in place that you can go into the widow. All right, the Levariate marriage, which that's practiced, all right, throughout many cultures in Africa, all right, as well, to this day, and other places. Now, aren't we going into the law? So basically, John the Baptist was cutting that so-called JEW, right? He was cutting them, right? Cutting them to the core, to the point where he got tired of hearing it and threw John in jail. This is what they're getting ready to do here, because everything that this devil is doing is against what the Bible says in some shape, form, or fashion. Everything, right? To the point where they're now trying to rewrite the Bible openly. For though by another law it was right to marry a brother's wife after his decease, when he left no issue, his seed, yet this was not the case here. Philip, now living, and he had been dead, such a marriage would have been unlawful, because there was a issue. She had a daughter who afterwards, it is said, to dance with Herodias, and besides, he himself had another wife whom he put away. And you can go into the history of Herod and what he was doing. He laid with his brother's wife, just a complete demon. Okay? They were doing all kind of evils, man, that went against the law. But here it is. What were they called? The King of the Jews. Okay? They were going around, all right, saying that we're the chosen people. So the same thing that we're witnessing and that we have to go through, all right, John the Baptist and our forefathers went through it. It's just our turn. It says, let's see here. So his sin was very aggravated and complicated one, lying with a brother's wife, which was one of those sins, according to the Jewish canon, deserving of cutting off or death by the hand of the Most High. Josephus gives us another reason, which that's a historian. We go into the Josephus for history purposes at times. All right. It says, Josephus gives another reason of the imprisonment and death of John, that Herod feared that the people of the Jews, through his means, would be moved to sedition and revolt against his government. And that's what they're fearing. They're fearing that our talking points are going to make Jake lose trust, all right, and the government lose trust, and and ultimately rebel against the NWO. Okay, and they're going to link it all to, us enticing violence and all of these various different things, man. Okay, it says, which might be what Herodias suggested to him, or what he gave out himself to cover the true cause of his proceeding, yada, yada, yada. Herod Antipater was a very wicked and pernicious man. Many of the wise men of Israel he slew with the sword, and he took to wife his brother's Philip's wife while as he was living. And because John the high priest, or John the Baptist, reproved him for this, he slew him with the sword and with many of the wise men of Israel. So John the Baptist was on fire. Okay, he was on fire, all right, just like we are on fire. See? And John the Baptist reproving this guy led him, all right, to legislation being passed where he could just throw John in jail, and eventually John was beheaded. Now, let's get the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter. Okay. Let's get that. Wisdom of Solomon 2. And I'm just going to jump to the point because this is the ungodly mindset against the righteous. That's what this is all talking about. And it talks about how the ungodly are against reincarnation. That's an ungodly mindset. But let's get to the point. Let's see here. I'll start at 12. This is the mindset of the wicked. Let us lie and wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law. Everything that we're saying, we're upbraiding. We're talking down on Esau. All right, but here it is. You're boasting in being the chosen. You're boasting in being the chosen, the people. Okay, and everything you're doing and everything that you have done goes against the law. So how are you the true children of Israel when everything that you're doing goes against the scriptures? The remnant would have a vibration and energy leading towards, all right, obedience to the scriptures, to the laws, to the best of our ability. Everything this NWO stands for is against the laws. Hardcore. All right, to the point where they're getting ready to ban it. Okay, he upbraided us with our offending the law and objected to our infamy, the transgressions of our teachings. He professed to have the knowledge of God and calling himself the child of God. Ain't that what we're saying? He was made to reprove our thoughts. Okay? See, and this is going to lead to many of us being thrown in jail. Okay? This is going to lead to all kind of, accounts coming against us, man. He is grievous unto us, even to behold. So they hate to see us. For his life is not like other men's, and his ways are of another fashion. So we're not your average so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are just walking around the earth, smiling, shucking and jiving, doing a Cupid shuffle, doing the cha-cha slide, doing all kind of evil and wickedness. We have a different mindset. And see, within the system of Edomite supremacy, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were never supposed to come out of the box he put you in. So to see you rise up, it really is affecting him. So you see these devils in these in these press conferences with these suits on at the World Economic Forum, and they're smiling and they're acting. No, they're preparing war against your ass. They're in great fear. It's not a game. See, Jake sitting back arguing over a chair, all right, and all of this other stupid, minuscule, petty garbage. These devils are planning on Xing out the Most High's Son and cutting you off from being his people, so that they can establish their NWO. Because if we continue in what we're doing, all right, they can't establish their NWO, and they know that. So they have to what? Cut us off from being a people. See, they thought they did it with the drugs, the rap music, and everything else, but we still came. So now they have to do something about this Israelite problem. All right, and it's going to be ugly. It ain't going to be fair. Okay? We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. See? We look at them as counterfeits. Right? I brought this out before. Counterfeits, a fraudulent imitation of something else. Forgery, for he knew the tapes to be counterfeits. See? Is not our message saying that they're counterfeits? We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstained from our ways as from filthiness. Okay? Those ain't the true people. And we're telling you that. We're showing you. He pronounced it the end of the just to be blessed and make it the boast that God is his father, man. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the son of God, God will help him and deliver him from the hands of his enemies. So what they're going to do, let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his weakness and prove his patience. All right. And that's what happened to Yahweh Shai. Okay. And they're coming after us. Okay. They're coming after us. Right. And we've been telling you that they were coming. Just because they're very systematic about how they do things, because they know who we are. They know they can't just rush in on the children of the Lord. Okay, there has to be an accusation. This is why all of these stupid camps doing what they're doing. Okay, it's all going to be used for an accusation to say, see, and then they think well, maybe Satan will be with us and just destroying them all. This is why the elect is so important, because we're going to be numbered amongst the transgressors. Just like Yahweh Shai was. Yahweh Shai was looked at just as your common thief and troublemaker, inciting violence against Rome. Okay? You see, when they rode on Yahweh Shai, all right, they had swords, right? Peter cut off the ear of the dude trying to bind Yahweh Shai. That could have been used as an accusation to say, look, see, they're going around, Because what? Yahweh Shai had to be numbered amongst the transgressors. He had to be looked at as just another, him and his men had to be looked at as just troublemakers and the ones who were inciting violence against the Roman government. Okay, but see, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. John the Baptist didn't use carnal weapons to cut Herod. He used the book, the laws. He used his actions and showed how it goes against the actions of that one who say he's a Jew. And that got John thrown in jail. Well, now we're coming with all manner of accusations against these devils. Now, when you read Revelation, the 12th chapter, it starts with the vision of the woman, and it goes, let me just start here. Revelation 12:4. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. That's Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Whose tail? The great red dragon, red Esau, the Roman Empire of that, time. And he had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi in slavery. But let's keep going. They were vassals to the Roman Empire. And it was a lot of sellout priests, that helped that transition. It says, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So this is speaking of, all right, Herod the Great. Remember, when you go into Herod, right, it wasn't just one Herod. Okay? Just to show you real quick for study purposes so you can know what you're talking about and what you're reading. Every time you see Herod, it means heroic. All right. It says the name of a royal family that flourished among the Jews in the times of Hamashiach and the apostles. So Yahweh Shai and the apostles, that John the Baptist. Okay, they saw these group of people calling themselves the Jews. Are not you seeing it? All right. It says Herod the Great was the son of Antipater of Idumea. See, who's Idumea? The Edomites. So this is the war, the seed of the serpent, the seed of the woman, appointed king of Judea by 40 BC by the Roman Senate at the suggestion of Antony and with the consent of Octavian. All right. He at length overcame great opposition which the country made to him and took possession of the kingdom by BC 37. See? So just like today you have America and then you have the state of Israel. I mean, it's the same damn thing. Rome gave power to Herod. And when you read, you can read it, you can keep reading. It gives you the whole history. Okay? Because this is all linked to how these devils are calling themselves the chosen today. And it goes into the Hasmonean dynasty and all of that. So read this when you get a chance. But you have Herod the Great. You have Herod Antipas, Herod Agrippa, Herod II. So when you read about the Herods, you got to make sure you know which one you're talking about. Okay? So you have Herod the Great, then you have Herod Antipas, all right, which was the son of Herod the Great. You have Herod Agrippa, all right, and then there's another Agrippa, the one Paul dealt with. And again, these are all Edomites, calling themselves the chosen people, but they weren't following the ways of the chosen people. Okay? So in this chapter, it starts with, going into that history of how Herod wanted to slay the seed, all right, which was Yahushai, all right. And then at the end, as we know, that great dragon, the Roman Empire, would rebirth itself, and that's through America, NATO, EU, Revelation 12 and 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahushai. See? So we're keeping the commandments to the best of our ability, and we have a testimony. So the dragon is wroth, see, with the remnant. Because what are the remnant doing? Basic scriptures we always go into, but have so much depth when you really get into it. Isaiah 10 and 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon Yahweh, the Holy One of truth. See, we're no longer leaning on these devils for support. We don't trust them anymore. We're calling them out, right? The remnant shall return, even the remnant, unto the mighty God. So this is leading to them, okay, trying to make a man an offender for a word, all right, and laying a snare, all right, to come up against us, okay? Let's read it again. While anti-Sem incidents most directly and intensely affect the Ish community, anti-Sem threatens us all. Anti-Sem conspiracy theories, see that? Fuel other forms of hatred, discrimination, and bias, including discrimination against other religious minorities, racism, sexism, and anti-alphabet plus. What's the plus? And the Bible goes against this. So here it is. On one end of the spectrum, you're the JE, you're the king, you're the chosen people, but all of the propaganda and the mess you're pushing into the earth is anti-Messiah. And here it is, we're calling you out to your face the same way John the Baptist did. Okay? And for any of you Israelites saying John the Baptist wasn't in the truth, man, hey, may you die the death of the uncircumcision unless you repent and retract that statement. Okay? Anti-Sim seeks to divide Americans from one from another. They're going to say that this mindset, what we're teaching, is dividing America, is ruining the world, and it must be dealt with. Okay? So, let's see here. I mean, you can read this. There's so many things in it. The fact sheet and full report explain in frightening detail how Biden is dedicating significant financial and human resources to essentially pander to the small hats in Israel over their concerns that they are being perceived badly. Yeah, they're being perceived badly because of prophecy. Okay? Woo! Something that might be attributed to their own behavior, admittedly. And they admit, well, we have done some bad things. Well, why can't we talk about those things? So now more aid is going to go to them, all right, to pretty much, oh my goodness, man. And Jake should be mad. Admittedly, some concerns were expressed that Israel would be immune from criticism in spite the fact that it's widely recognized as an apartheid state that commits crimes against humanity and even war crimes on a nearly daily basis. Yeah. Oh man. This is these people are through, man.
אנרכיסט, הלו. עזוב את הדגל, בכלל. אני בשוק. עורב, מה? אני בהלם. אני בשוק.
So yeah, they're being called out. They're feeling the heat because we're in a period of inquisition. Okay, they're being investigated. They're being called out. Okay. Says most recent, this has included a Flag Day march in East Jerusalem, which settlers chanted death to the Arabs. The Times of Israel subsequently printed an article calling for the extermination of the Palestinians. Oh yeah, what about those people? All right, but here it is. You Americans are praying for Ukraine. What about them people? What about the Palestinians? So all the hypocrisy is being addressed. Willfully blind to that reality, the fact sheet has only this to say. In addition, the strategy reaffirms the United States' unshakable commitment to the state of Israel's right to exist. Where's the state of Israel in prophecy? There's no such thing. It's the throne of David or nothing. If it ain't the throne of David under Yahushua authority, then nothing going on over there, all right, has anything to do with prophecy of the true Israelites returning to that land. Okay? It says, in its legitimacy, and makes it clear that when Israel is singled out because of anti-Ish hatred, that is anti-Sim. In other words, because Israel is self-designated Ish state, criticism of it will be ipso facto regarded as a hate crime. Okay, so this is where we're going. I will not bore the reader by reviewing most of the 60-page long strategy, more intrusive features, but it's worth observing that it commits itself to have the U.S. government harness our collective resources to increase education about anti-Sim and its threat to democracy, the hollow thing, and the Ish contributions to American society, yada, yada, yada. All right. Collective resources, of course, includes taxpayer money, which will be flowing in the billions to the Ish businesses and facilities for protection. Is already happening. Yeah, they get billions of dollars in aid. Okay, but anytime something happens, the first people who are called out as welfare babies who are sucking up all of the resources are the lowly, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, as if Edomites don't be on welfare. Anyway, the Department of Homeland Security grants more than 90% of which support is increased for the small hats in their organizations. Okay? The strategy, pillar one, increase awareness of understanding anti-Sem, including its threat to America. Okay? Now, homelessness, you got trash everywhere. The food is all messed up. The education is all messed up. But the number one issue is these people. Okay? Improve safety and security to ish communities, reverse the normalization of anti-Sem and counter it, build cross-community solidarity and collective action. So this article is pretty much going in on them. Okay? And you could check that out here, which I'm not going to keep going, for the sake of time. All right? Again, this is all prophecy, man. Okay? The joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. Okay? And the vile man shall no more be called liberal. Okay? Isaiah 32. This is what's happening. Isaiah 32. All right? Because what does Herod mean? Heroic. It's Isaiah 32:4. I read it in the NLT. It says, even the hotheads, Jake, okay, will be full of sense and understanding. Those who stammer will speak out plainly. That's what we're doing. We were supposed to be dummies. Now they're looking at the videos. We're bringing out historical facts. We're going into artifacts. We're going into Hebrew. We're speaking Hebrew to the best of our ability. They're like, hell nah. Okay? Going in with facts. Okay? Well-studied brothers are going in. In that day, ungodly fools will not be heroes. Scoundrels will not be respected. So that's what's happening. They're losing their respect. People are calling them out. They're on the back foot. Okay? And E can't fight on the back foot. He's used to move charging forward. Okay? So now he's dealing with a different, this is something different for him. So now he's preparing all manner of propaganda, okay, to stop this word, man. Let's keep reading. The vile person, let's read it in King James, shall no more be called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. Nobody respects you anymore. For the vile person will speak plainly, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against Yahweh and to make empty the soul of the hungry. He will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. And what's the drink of the thirsty? This word going out. He's going to stop it. But that's the Lord's doing. So all of this is going to lead to the famine of the word, which is further in prophecy. So the instruments of the churl, which a churl is a scoundrel. Okay? And that's what you devils are, man. Are evil. He devised wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speak it right. So the needy is speaking right. Okay? The needy is speaking right. We ain't on the corner talking about Crips and Bloods and this and that. We're reading the Bible, going into prophecy. Okay? But he's still going to try to figure out a way, all right, and a scheme to stop it, all right? But it's all the Lord's doing, man. So check out this article. I mean, I know it's so much more in this article that I could have went into. It's fairly long, but let's see. Make no mistake, the strategy and all that will develop from its misguided overkill and the death of freedom to speak. Okay, and that's what it is. Okay, they're going to take away your freedom to speak, in particular to speak against them. Okay, but anyway, I just wanted to go into that, man. Get the the spiritual juices flowing, man. Shalom.